Well, great game. Coming off the win at Georgia, getting home late last night. You always worry, how are the guys going to respond today? Are they going to be able to turn the page and be ready to go? And I thought our pitching staff was phenomenal today. We had plenty of options, but you have to be strategic. Trying to play 18 innings in the middle of the week on how you're going to use your pitching staff. And Casey Talent did a great job of getting us through 2 1/3 there. Thought Grice was outstanding. Thought he threw the ball well. Came in, got a big punch out with a runner at third with 1 out. Good to get Alex Edmondson back into the mix. He threw a clean inning, and then we pieced it together with Hoffman. Gilbert was outstanding. Ricky Williams got back in there, and Clayton finished it off. So we were able to throw a number of guys in short spurts, and I thought we pitched really, really well. Hit really well with runners in scoring position tonight. Had a lot of guys on base. Blake Wright had a huge night for us. 3 hits, hit the home run, 6 RBIs. We took advantage of the free 90 there at the end of the game, and then swung the bats, and drove some runs in. So, played a great game defensively. Blake made a great play at second base on a double play to end the inning. So, all in all, we played a good game tonight, and we got the Knowles coming in. Need to have a good practice tomorrow and get ready for Florida State.
So you seen a play quite like that from Blake, where he's going back, tagging the back of his glove, gets on his knees and throws. How impressive!
Yeah, it was great. It was a great play. It actually happened last night at Georgia. A similar play where, a lot of times when when you're starting the runner at first base, especially with a right-handed hitter at the plate, if the runner at first is running, the second baseman covers the bag. So it just so happened that the ball was hit in the middle of the field to allow him to make that type of play. So he was moving towards second base because the runner at first base, was running. It's just one of those unassisted double plays that you see from time to time. We've actually seen it now in back-to-back nights out of him, which is pretty cool, but it was a great play.
I know Casey was making his first start, but I guess in the future where you hope that maybe he pounds the strike zone a bit better. I know he had 21 strikes out of 41 pitches.
Yeah, he needs to be a little more efficient. I thought he threw fine for his first start, but we want guys to be north of 60% strikes. That's kind of our goal as a pitching staff. Casey's, I think, a little better than that. But it was good to get him to start, and I thought he handled it well, which was good to see.
I guess in terms of Max Wagner, obviously his 13th home run. Thinking about him as a freshman to where he is now, what does he improve in his swing to be able to kind of unlock that?
Well, I think he's the same guy in terms of his swing. I think his approach is much better. He's able to cover the outer half better. That's the biggest difference. If you look at his home runs and his power, a lot of his home runs are from left center field to right field now. So he uses the whole field. He's much better at covering the whole plate, the whole strike zone. Does a better job of hitting the hanging breaking ball when he gets it. Last year he struggled to hit breaking balls, and he struggled to cover the outer half of the plate. Had to be on one side of the plate for him to hit it. Now he can hit, he can cover the whole plate. So that's the biggest difference between Wagner from last year to this year. But we saw it in the recruiting process. We thought he was an absolute stud of a player when we signed him. We were very happy to get him. We thought he would be this kind of player. So sometimes, when you get a kid out of Wisconsin, it takes them a little time to, just to accumulate the at-bats and get the reps needed to develop. But he's been fantastic for us.
Looking at the box score, I might not say this, but you kind of view Caden as kind of the unsung hero, being able to come out of the bullpen tonight and stranded. Obviously there was a pass ball, but being able to kind of hold the fort there and not let any more damage come pass out of the pen.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just great to be able to bring him in earlier in the game. We've been trying to find spots to use him pitching wise, and oftentimes it's been at the end of the game because we had him in the field. We DH'd him on purpose tonight, so that we could pitch him when we wanted to pitch him as a DH. Obviously, you can bring him in at any time to pitch him and keep him in the DH spot. So, that was the idea, and he did an outstanding job. Yeah, had runners on base and was able to pitch out of it. We did have the pass ball that gave him 1 run, but, outside of that, I thought he threw the ball great.
Early in the season, you said, or at the beginning of the season, that you didn't want to pitch Bryce as much. What changed there? Why do you think it's useful to still have him come in?
We kept talking to him about pitching. Honestly, he didn't feel like it was something that he wanted to do. And, part of it is for Caden, he had an injury in the fall, and the injury that he had. The risk is a little bit greater when you do both. It just puts a lot of stress on the body to pitch and hit. So I think he was a little hesitant to pitch just because he wanted to stay healthy, and it also, it helps him from a focus standpoint. But and we kept talking to him, and I think he started to get the itch a little bit to get back on the mound, and we started building him slowly, and now, I think there's no secret. Look, we've got to find innings on the weekend. We needed to get him back in the mix to see if that could be a factor on the weekends, pitching wise as well.
It's just having to play with him as well. I mean, how much do you see his confidence grow for the last couple of weeks? It seems like he's picked it up in the plate.
Well, he's certainly having better at bats. I mean, there's no question about that. And I think that he's just doing a better job of when he gets a good pitch to hit, he's hitting it. They're very careful with him. They don't throw him a lot of fastballs, but he's got to be able to lay off all-speed pitches early in the count so that he can get fastballs. That's the key. If he chases out of the zone a lot, they're just going to keep throwing it. So he's got to do a good job of laying off all-speed pitches so that he can get more pitches to hit, and I think he's doing a better job of that.
Sorry if you've addressed this a couple times, but Will Taylor, can you give an update on him? How close is he to actually?
Yeah, he's close. I mean, he's playing balls off the bat in the outfield. He's taking BP. We're going to try to get him some live at bats tomorrow. He's had one day of live at bats where we had some pitchers throw to him, so we'll do that again tomorrow and try to get him ready. I think he's within. He could be within the next. I'm not sure. Obviously, that's going to be dependent upon the medical staff and Will. But I would say we could see him in action potentially in the next 2 weeks.
And how do you kind of integrate him, being that so deep into the schedule? Have you thought about what his role will be, or how limited he can be?
Well, no. I mean, whether we use him in some DH at bats early or whether we just stick him out there and play him, we haven't quite made that decision. I'll cross that bridge when I get there, but I know that we need to use him because he's a very talented player and he can help us. And it's going to take some time. There's some rust there. He hasn't played, but as far as getting him in there, timing's never great, right? I mean, in life in general, as a coach, timing's never great. Guys get hurt at the wrong time. Guys come back and somebody's playing well, and you just got to figure it out. That's my job. My job is just to figure it out and put him in a position to be successful, put him in a position to help us win games.